welcome here to the home of Yanis Felix, a champion and Ferrari's biggest fan, and welcome back to the home of Formula 1 night racing. Oh yay! That's right, we are finally back in the place that we visited in 2024. You can see it all over our YouTube channel. Obviously, we are reporting about this fantastic race that just took place in Singapore, because Singapore is the home of the night racing. It's also the place where Ferrari always wins. And how about in 2024? Was it the scene of another remarkable Ferrari victory? Well, what do you think? Let's discuss it all in our exclusive reaction that is now traditional in this 2024 FIA Formula 1 World Championship. Absolutely critical race. As you know, September, it's all about the street races, and you know, again, in September, basically, if we calculate the Italian GP, you know, all of the tracks, we had a magnificent chance, you know, to win the race. And again, make it 3 out of 3 and definitely 2 out of 2, because you know, in Baku we were so close, very unlucky with it. How about in Singapore? Sainz won there last year. It was the only race that Red Bull didn't win. But how about this year? Well, I have to say it was a very exciting race, very entertaining, and especially, you know, once you walk the track, you know, you really, you know, feel familiar with it. It's a little bit like, you know, when I see Monaco or Barcelona or Abu Dhabi. So, you know, it's been really great. I think the reprofile section is great, makes the Singapore race longer. But, you know, sadly for Ferraris, what is really important on a street circuit is the qualifying. And unlike in Baku, where obviously Leclerc put it on pole position there, you know, 4 times in a row, that wasn't the case in Singapore. But due to some really strange circumstances, so in this race reaction, we will tell you everything about it, how we think we could have won this race that, you know, I really wanted to go to. Obviously, we've been around, you know, the track a lot. You can definitely see all the details, definitely check it out. But yeah, what a pity that in the end we didn't win it. And then we will turn around this Scuderia Red Ferrari, Red Retina iMac and show you how the race finished. What that means for the Drivers' Championship, which is really heating up, and why maybe the Singapore, which was the high point of Ferrari's season last year, it was the only race that obviously Red Bull didn't win in the dominant 2023 season, why probably the Constructors' Challenge and probably the Drivers' Challenge also ended here. We still have 6 races to go, 3 sprints, but it's looking rather dire unless this great SF1000T818 Scuderia Ferrari Formula 1 Trustmaster Racing Formula 1 simulator, you know, in the hands of especially Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz can produce some memorable 1-2s, which is a tall order nowadays. But yeah, great practice sessions. Again, you know, we were always on the pace, and good Q1, good Q2, but it was a little bit hard, you know, to tell who would be on pole position, right? So up until the Q3, you were really unable to tell. And then, you know, the first round started, and guess what? A car is in a wall. I'm like, is it Lance Stroll again? But he was out in Q1, right? You know, it's again the last turn, you know, Carlos Sainz, terrible mistake. You know, obviously Singapore GP winner last year, but you know, that was a costly mistake. You know, I don't understand how, well, actually I understand, because you know, I drive, you know, these cars with this great wheel, they are so fun to drive. But yeah, it is true that in the 4th, 5th gear, you can, you know, spin the car if you suddenly go in a full power. And usually in the 3rd gear, you already have a lot of traction, but it is possible if the tires are cold. But to me, it's only happening when I was, you know, using the hard tires, not the soft tires. So very strange. You know, Sainz ended up in a wall, and then, you know, Leclerc made an uncharacteristic mistake. Only 1 lap pretty much for all the drivers apart from Piastri, who finished the lap before Sainz was in a barriers. And yeah, Leclerc, you know, couldn't brake the car, couldn't slow the car down into the first corner. And once you cut the 2nd corner, obviously the lap will be deleted, and as a result he has to start 9th, Sainz 10th. So yeah, what can you do there, right? If there would be a safety car, that would have been definitely possible. I thought the strategy was quite good in a race, you know, but the qualifying, you know, is basically where we lost it. It's a real pity, because we could have as easily been, instead of added the last 2 positions in the Q3, we could have been the first 2 positions in 1-2, and we would be celebrating Ferrari victory now, right? As it stands, we will have to wait until obviously next year. So we started with Norris and Verstappen, 2 title protagonists, behind them 7-time champion and future Ferrari driver Lewis Hamilton. What could he do? Well, he started on red tires and the soft tires simply didn't work out for him, but he still got a good start, fought with Verstappen, but notice for the first time he's gotten a really good getaway, and that was basically the race because he was then able to manage the pace just like I do in the F1 24 season, so congratulations to him. That's pretty much the race as it was. Ferraris did a good job, but with Leclerc we moved over to 8th position. He had to take the avoiding action. Thankfully, there wasn't any penalty from FIA. Sainz dropped back to 12th and couldn't move out of there, just like Leclerc. And Ferrari did a great job. Obviously, most drivers were starting on the mediums, did a good job simply stopping Sainz because they saw that Ricciardo stopped, and and especially when Albon stopped, then he would actually undercut Sainz. So they decided, okay, the hard tire will be able to do 40 plus laps. Let's stop you in, and Sainz was then able to overtake. So it was really funny. Then when he got in behind Tsunoda, who was running in 11th, he couldn't overtake him, but with the tires that were 15 laps fresher, he was then able to just breeze, past, and in the end, well-deserved 7th place. Once he made the progress, obviously, then he would get stuck once he has gotten to the top 6, drivers, which were basically both Mercedes drivers, both McLaren drivers, and his teammate and Verstappen. With Leclerc, I mean, he and Piastri actually stayed out long. I think it was little bit like, okay, let's see what will happen. But Leclerc, great overtaking move, coming out of the Esplanades, DRSing Hülkenberg, being very high on the brake in that final chicane, which we show you in one of the videos. That was a great move for me. It was the move of the day. What do you think? It was a great move, because that freed him up, even though Hülkenberg then stopped a couple of laps later. And once you have a free air, we could really see fastest laps from the Ferrari. So what a pity. I believe, if Piastri didn't make a mistake on his lap, and especially if the Ferraris, obviously, if we wouldn't make such uncharacteristic mistakes, and, it would be a huge fight between McLaren and Ferrari again, as it was easy victory for Norris, who now looks set like to really be challenging Verstappen, who had no answer to him here. And I don't think he will have the answer for the rest of the season. So it's looking really interesting for the Drivers' Championship, but for us, in the end, obviously with Leclerc, he would just emerge ahead of Hülkenberg, and then he was able to pick up Alonso. His teammate, did a good job, obviously didn't fight him, and his future Ferrari teammate Hamilton was also passed because Hamilton stopped much earlier. So Leclerc did a good job. What a pity that he couldn't overtake, Russell, but due to the fact that there was no safety car, we finished 1 minute behind. So the only thing would be that obviously Norris wouldn't be leading from the front, that there would be a safety car, but especially the qualifying was really costly, and that's why Scuderia Ferrari did not win the 2024 Singaporean Grand Prix. But let's hope I will. So now let's take a look at the results, shall we? You exciting? Yeah, I am. Again, the victory was pretty straightforward for Norris. Singapore is a one-stop race. Because the tires are very, very durable nowadays. So you can see Norris winning from Verstappen, and then having Piastri come back after fighting. Russell did a good job holding back Leclerc, but obviously Leclerc, after the tires did 20 laps, they didn't have so much grip. So hard to overtake in Singapore. Hamilton then did a good job, and Sainz, could recovery drive, but definitely, huge disappointment overall because we wanted to do so much better. This is now the Drivers' Championship here. So this is how it looks like. So 335 points for Verstappen from Red Bull. You can see Norris with 279, so clearly 52 points behind. Hey, listen, that could be a big title fight with Leclerc 245. Obviously being 86 points behind, we would need a miracle or simply the strongest car that can do 1-2s every race up until now, until the end of the season. Then we have Piastri 237, Hamilton 190, Russell 174, Perez 155. That's pretty much how it's Russell 155, Sainz there with 190, and obviously then the Alonso, and then Hülkenberg made it with 24. Very good result there. So clearly not that much has changed in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren looks in control now, 516 points. That's a really big blow because we still fancy this Constructors' Championship. Red Bull 475, we have 441 points, 34 points behind Red Bull. I think we can get them, but I'm not sure what we're gonna do about McLaren, which obviously are 75 points ahead. Mercedes 329, they're pretty much out of it now. Then you have 86 with Aston Martin and the rest of the grid. Yeah, so I thought obviously Singapore, and again here we have the winner, and obviously in September we would have it's all about the street racing, right? Which Ferrari is great at. It's such a disappointment, frankly speaking, because I couldn't believe that qualifying yesterday. Good recovery drive, but again, could have been a little bit better if we were a bit more lucky. But yeah, overall, again, it's been a great season. There are still lots of races to go, but now we will take a 1 month break. Again, there will be some, I will still post, for example, some of the races like the Qatar, so stay tuned. So you don't need to wait the whole month, for the United States especially, and the Americas, right? Because we will have, Austin, we will have Mexico, right? Las Vegas coming up, Brazil, obviously, and then sandwich it between is then Qatar and Abu Dhabi, obviously, with the finale. So, now we go to the Americas. We will see what happens. That's a big unknown for especially Scuderia Ferrari, but I hope we will be strong. Hey, let's not be disappointed. It was still a beautiful fireworks, great place, Singapore. We will be back in 2025. Scuderia Ferrari, let's go! Let's make that final push. The September at the street tracks. What a pity in Singapore, but this is what happens. Now let's be flawless and let's still challenge for the Formula 1 World Championships in 2024. Forza Ferrari, let's